Bonjour, bonjour, Miss Omi. Hi, I'm QDC. What we're about to build today is Tamiya's French battle tank B1 Beast, and this is in 1/35th scale. And the reason why I bought this particular kit was because of this tank's rich history. When this tank came out, it was considered one of the most powerful tanks in the world because it held a 75mm main gun. It had a 47mm anti-tank gun, and it had thick armor protection, up to 60mm thick. This was considered a potent tank for its time, and Hitler's army did fear this when they invaded France. So let's go ahead and start building this kit right now. Let's go take a look inside this box. We have the turret, decal, suspension system, tracks and a chain, fenders, lower hull, upper hull, paint guide, and the instruction sheet. I want to talk to you about the highlight of this model kit. What I have in both my hands are the tracks, and the tracks are very well detailed. They're the best tracks that I have ever seen that Tamiya has ever made. On my right hand is the outer portion of the track, and on my left hand is the inner portion. How it works is that you're supposed to simply snap them together like this, and it'll form two tracks. Again, this is the best tracks that I've ever seen that Tamiya has ever made. I want to talk to you more about the other highlight of this kit. What I'm pointing at are the two chains that comes with the kit. These are high quality metal chains. They're very shiny, and I believe they're of a quality which you can actually use it for making imitation jewelry. It's that good. Now the trick in using these chains for the kit is you need to attach these onto these hooks. What I'm pointing at are the hooks for the rear of the tank, and those are towing hooks. So that's going to be the most challenging part. The first step in installing the chain is to make an opening for the tow hook. So I'm going to use my hobby knife in doing that. I'm going to make a slit right over here. Next is for me to install the chain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully install this chain in my right hand onto a tow hook in my left hand. This will be a little bit of a challenge and will take several attempts to make it right. I just installed the chain onto a tow hook. It took 3 attempts, but I was successful. It's time to install the chain. I already placed the tow hook onto the tank, and I'm going to wrap the chain around the back of the tank. Tamiya has instructions on how to do this. You're first supposed to wrap the first chain in this hook over here. I'm not doing that right. Here we go. Like that. Then put the chain onto this hook right over here. I'm going to try. It's going to be a little hard for me to do that. And then I'm supposed to wrap it up and over like that. Okay, so we built the model kit, and now it's time for me to show you what I think about this kit so far. Take a look. This is the completed model kit before painting weathering, and this is the best model kit that I have ever built from Tamiya so far. Each part that I assembled was a joy. The best part I like was assembling the tracks. It was very easy to build. All I had to do is snap them together, and the results are just beautiful. I like it. They're very flexible, and it's going to be a joy to assemble onto the tank. And the details on this tank is really top notch. As you can well see, everything, the rivets, the gun up here, and the sprocket are just beautiful. And my favorite detail on the tank is the chain. The metal chain that's included in the kit is just really nice. I like this kit a lot. I recommend this model kit for both the advanced modeler and also the beginner. If you're an advanced modeler, you're going to love this kit because it's simple to build and the results is very good. A high quality of detail. You're going to love this if you're an advanced modeler. If you're a beginner, you're going to love this because it's simple to build and the results you're going to get are going to be very professional. A high level amount of detail. The only part that I think that the beginner may have a difficult time to assemble are the running gear right down here where I'm pointing at. But other than that, I think the beginner is going to be very satisfied and very happy with this model kit. Highly recommended. You're going to enjoy it. It's time for me to paint the model. It's time for me to paint the model. I already gave the entire model a coat of black primer, but before I start painting the model, I want to explain to you that I did not glue the fender onto the model. And the reason why I didn't do that is because it makes it easier for me to attach the tracks and also weather the model with mud without this on. And what you see right here are 3 extra tracks that I'm using to support the fender as I'm painting the model. I want to talk to you about making the camouflage pattern. When the French painted the Charbie, what I think what they've done was they painted it by hand. They had a paint can and a paint brush, and they just simply painted the camouflage onto the tank. And by doing that, what you get is what's called a hard line. The transition between one color to the next is very distinct. Now, the opposite of a hard line would be a soft line, and the German army during World War II used mostly that. The Germans had spray guns, and they sprayed the camouflage pattern, so the transition between one color to the next was very soft, and that's why it's called a soft line. So how to produce a hard line is I'm going to use a child's product called Silly Putty. This is a child's toy in which inside this little egg is a putty right here. And this putty is very malleable, and you can reuse it over and over and over again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a flat surface like that, and then use a little bottle and make it flat as I can get it, like that. And then I'm going to cut the putty in shape to cover the areas of the tank where I do not want to have the new camouflage paint to be on, and then paint the exposed areas. The masking is all done, and now it's time for me to finish the camouflage pattern. So here is the painted tank. I did a good job using the silly putty that I have in between my fingers, and it really produced a nice hard line, as you can well see. I want to point out about the colors that I used for this tank. When you look at the entire model, you see two colors, the yellowish sandy color and the green. In reality, there are 8 colors. If you look at the real tank, you notice that when the light shines on the tank, it produces various highlights and shadows. And I imitated that onto this particular model. If you take a look at this piece of paper right here, this piece of paper has the actual colors that I use to paint this model. This is the base color for the sand yellow, the highlight, the bright highlight, and the shadow. For the green, this is the base color, the highlight, the bright highlight, and the shadow. And I use all these 8 colors to produce this particular, at least in my personal opinion, realistically painted tank. And when you look at it, it's just 2 colors, but it's not. I'm going to simulate shiny metal. What I have in my hand is an ordinary graphite pencil, and I'm going to use it to rub on the sprocket of each tooth to give it a worn metal appearance. It's time for me to start the weathering. I gave the entire model a coat of gloss coat to protect it, and what you see right here in this cup is a dilution of brown artist oil paint mixed with mineral spirits. And I'm going to use this brush to apply the wash on the entire model. I want to make some rust streaks. What I'm pointing at is a artist oil color called burnt sienna, and that's going to be my rust streak color. With this toothpick that I dipped in this color, I'm going to put that onto a rivet right there, like so. And then right after that, I'm going to take a moistened brush that I have in my hand, and then I carefully streak it right down, like that. I'm going to give some dust effects. I'm going to tint the entire model with a coat of buff color mixed with a little bit of white, diluted with mineral spirits. I'm going to add some mud effects. I removed the fenders so it'll make it easier for me to apply the mud. What I'm going to do is that with this brush I have in my hand, I'm going to dip it in water and then put the water where I think there's going to be mud. If you take a look at the picture of a real Sharpie tank, you're going to notice that there's going to be mud all around on top of this tank, right around here where I'm applying the water. And then using the spoon, I'm going to get the towel grout, which is right here where I'm pointing at in this little small cup, and then I'm going to simply sprinkle that onto the tank to get the mud effect. I just installed the tracks, and I'm going to add mud effects on the tracks as well. I'm going to simulate soot from the gun blast. What I'm pointing at with my brush is a black pastel chalk, and I'm going to use that to simply brush on to the end of the gun barrel to create the soot. So here is the completed figure that I finished, and I think I've done a okay job. Alright, so we built the model kit, we painted it, we weathered it, and now it's time for me to show you what I think about this particular kit from the beginning to the end. Take a look. This is the computer model kit after painting and weathering, and I've done a good job. I like the use of silly putty to make the transitions between one color to the next with those hard lines, and my weathering has brought out the nice details. Using an overall wash and adding dust effects and putting mud effects really brings out the details of this model kit. Going to the history of this tank, there are some critics who believe that this tank was a failure. They said that this tank was an old design that was made back in the 1920s, and it shouldn't have been really considered for a tank to fight against Hitler during his rise of power. And I disagree with them. Given the facts that the French understood about conventional battle tactics and about Hitler's blitzkrieg tactics, which was quite limited, they believed that this tank was the best tank to protect their country. And so I think that this was a very good tank, a good French tank for its time. That completes this model project. What you're about to see is a video slideshow of the entire model kit, but before I go, as always, just because I put this video here on YouTube, it doesn't make me a model kit expert. I am not an expert. I'm just a regular guy just like you. In this slideshow, I'm going to include a song that came from a very famous singer. Her name is Edith Piaf. And for those of you who saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, you heard her sing before. In the movie Saving Private Ryan, at the end, there was a scene in which the American soldiers was protecting the bridge, and before the German army came to the bridge, you heard Edith Piaf sing a song. So you're going to hear her again in this video. And the name of the song is very appropriate to this tank. The name of the song is called La Chevalière de Paris, which means the Knight from Paris. With your permission, I want to go off on a tangent. When I was building this kit, this French tank, I was thinking about my first understanding about how other nations saw my country here in the United States. About 30 years ago, I learned that the French didn't like Americans back then. They thought that Americans, basically they thought Americans were arrogant and they didn't like the American politics. And also back then, they didn't like the fact that when Americans came over to their country to visit, that they didn't try to speak the French language whatsoever. But now I heard times have changed now. I heard that the French are more open towards Americans, much more than they did back 30 years ago. And the reason why I want to tell you this is because I want to really let everyone know on YouTube that I don't judge people from where they're from. I judge people for who they are. So if they're from Europe, from France, from the United Kingdom, Russia, the Ukraine, or if you're in Asia, in China, Japan, the Philippines, or in the Americas, in Argentina, Mexico, Canada, I don't judge anyone from where they are. I judge people for who they are from inside. And to prove that, and to also prove to the French, I'm going to sing this French song. So for those of you who are French or knows the French language, don't laugh at me. I'm going to try my very best to sing the song. And for those of you who do not like bad singing, you might want to cover your ears as well, because I am not the best singer here on YouTube, by far. But I'm going to try, okay? Don't laugh, I'm going to try. Here I go. Allons enfants de la patrie, les jeux de gloire tel à la rive, contre nous de la tyrannie, les tendances grandes élevées, les tendances grandes élevées. Odonte-vous le cupagnane, mujer si fio sohoda, even justo fubra, iguger vofisa vocopagnan, citoyen, former vous bataillon, machin, machin, Casampu, a brava notion. Well, I hope I sang that well. I'm QDC, and thanks for watching. Viva la France!
Le grand chevalier du cœur de Paris se rappelait plus du bout des prairies. Il faisait la guerre avec ses amis, dedans la fumée, dedans les métros, dessus les pavés, dedans les bistrots. Il ne savait pas qu'il en était sous, il ne savait pas qu'il dormait debout, Paris le tenait par la peau du cou. Oh, les pommiers doux, ronds des ritournelles, j'ai pas peur des loups, chantonnait la belle. Ils ne sont pas méchants avec les enfants, ont le cœur fidèle et les jeunes blancs. Sous un pommier d'où il l'a retrouvé, croisant le soleil avec la rosée. Vive les chansons pour les bien-aimés, je me souviens d'elle au sang de velours. Elle avait des mains qui parlaient d'amour, et tressait l'argile avec les nuages, et pressait le vent contre son visage, pour en exprimer l'huile des voyages. Oh, les pommiers doux, ronds des ritournelles, j'ai pas peur des loups, chantonnait la belle. Ils ne sont pas méchants avec les enfants, ont le cœur fidèle et les genoux blancs. Adieu mon Paris, dit le chevalier, j'ai dormi 100 ans debout sans manger les pommes d'argent de mes doux pommiers. Alors le village a crié si fort que toutes les filles ont couru dehors, mais le chevalier n'a salué qu'elle, au sang de velours, au cœur tant fidèle. Chevalier fera la guerre en dentelle. Oh, les pommiers doux, ronds des ritournelles, j'ai pas peur des loups, chantonnait la belle. Ils ne sont pas méchants avec les enfants, ont le cœur fidèle et les jeunes